My name is Mark Otabo, and you are watching The Big Issue. It can be devastating when you think you found the perfect partner and your family disapprove of them. Now, your choice of your intended life partner is anchored on certain convictions and chemistry that cannot be easily waved off. However, if you're close to your family, you would ordinarily want their approval of your marriage. Now, caught between the devil and the deep blue sea, many intending couples have had to take actions that either put a question mark on their love for their partner or their family. So we ask, is it ideal to marry someone without your family's consent? Join the debate as we welcome two irreconcilable and highly opinionated guests on this episode of The Big Issue. Abraham Eninla is a life coach and the course coordinator, Lead Vision Training Providers. He says, without your family's consent, your marriage will be incomplete. Therefore, do not marry without your family's blessing. Come on, let's have you. Good to have you this way. Come this way. Thank you very much. Fantastic. All right, on the other side of the argument is Okwoche, a media personality and a certified women's rights advocate. She is confidently saying intending couples should take their destiny into their hands. Marry who you love, not who your family loves. Come on, let's welcome her. It's good to have you on the show.
Thank you.
Fantastic. Oh my goodness. As you can see, it's going to be a mind-blowing experience because as I already know, a lot of people are going through this situation. Hopefully, by the time we're done, this would have settled all the odds because the arguments are going to be coming from both sides. So if you're ready, just stay glued and stay relaxed because trust me, we got you covered all the way. Now, I think I'll begin with the lady first. Yes, your stand is clear. Marry who you love and not who your family loves. How do you begin?
Okay, so thank you very much, Mark.
Good to have you.
And Mr. Abraham, you're welcome. Yes, all right, so yes, a marriage is a union, first of all, between two people, with, establishing establishing rights and obligations between the both of them. Yeah. It is a case of living and cleaving. Even the Bible says that. Yeah. So, where do the parents come in when making this decision? It comes a time in a man's life where he makes that decision and states and underline what man, not boy, a man. So when you get to the place of being a man means that you are an adult. In your maturity becomes, you're more stable in the way you think, in the way you act, and even in your decision making. So you are making that point where you decide that I've seen someone that I would like to spend the rest of my life with. Regardless of perception, regardless of societal pressure, regardless of what people may think, it is you that is making that decision. At the end of the day, this is somebody that you're going to live with. When you die, this is someone that when your parents die, this is someone that will be there to comfort you. This is someone that you sleep on the same bed with. This is someone that you're going to share every part of your life with. So where do you get to that point where your parents have to make that decision? At this point, I'm just going to pause.
All right. Now, Mr. Abraham Eninla, you heard her side of the discourse right now. She's saying, look, when you get to that point of wanting to take a wife, maturity has set in. You're a man now. So parents would have little role to play in that regard of your choice of partner. But you are holding a different opinion. How do you begin?
Yes, I must say I disagree with that opinion.
Okay.
Coming from this perspective,
all right.
You were born into a family. You didn't choose that family. You didn't choose your parents, okay? You grew in that family. They guided you through. Now, parents are guardians. They are there for you to guide you through your lifetime, all right, until they are out of your life, okay? So you must understand that when you talk about the issue of marriage, Marriage is a project, okay? And then you have stakeholders. In every project, you have stakeholders, okay? So I usually coin it out of, I use 5C to say this, that the first C is the creator. The second C, of course, is the caretaker, which is your parents. The third one is the commandment, which is the law. The fourth one is the culture. And the last one is the couple, the two guys that wants to get married. Now, look at the hierarchy of the placement. The creator, the caretaker. Okay, so you are placed in the hand of someone. Now, a parent, they know you better. Okay, they brought you up. They have values. They have things that they have passed across to you. Now, you get to a point where you want to make a decision. Of course, it's not in all cases that parents disagree. You understand? But there are reasons where parents, from your own blind spots, there's something they have seen. And then they will come and say, okay, there's a problem here. You can't go ahead with this. And of course, that is normal. Well, because if your parents see something wrong, they should guide you because it's their responsibility, okay? And they are going to be part of your life. You said, okay, I love this guy. It's just me and this guy, and we are just going to walk away. Forgetting the fact that through your lifetime, you have parents. You always call them for advice. You want to seek them. You want them to be responsible. You want them to, okay, if I'm approving something, then it means I'm responsible also. If something goes wrong, I'm part of that thing. And so the moment you disengage them and say, oh, this is my choice, this is my way, it means that they are not responsible. They are out of the show.
All right.
I would like to say something to what he said. You mentioned two things that struck a chord. One, you said something about parents being guiders.
Yes.
Parents being caretakers.
Yes.
How do you differentiate guidance and interference? So at the point where you have said no to this intending partner, life partner, you have interfered in your child's decision, regardless of you being a child. And at what point do you give this child at what point do you say, no, I would like, so yes, I am your guardian. I brought you into this world. It is my responsibility to cater to you. Not for the rest of your life, because it gets to a point in a man's life where he has to make his own decisions, where he has to move on from his parents, babysitting. What makes a man? The decisions he makes, the risks he takes. Sometimes you have to make those decisions, you have to take those risks, and you have to go into it with your eyes open. That is how you learn. So regardless of, what a parents so at what point do the parents stop interfering in that man's life or in that woman's life? Because the minute you start from the inception of the marriage, it becomes a continuous interference for the rest of their marriage.
Now, it's not
you interfere when the children come in. You interfere when, should I buy a car?
Not really.
Oh, no, you shouldn't buy a car for your wife.
No. You are getting this thing mixed up. It's not an interference, actually. It's not an interference. Now, this is parental responsibility. Now, let me give you an instance. There's this person that, the parents came, and then, of course, they were telling him that this lady that you want to marry, there's something we have seen about her. There are some certain things that we heard. There are certain places we saw her. And we think that this is going to be a heartbreak if you marry this person. Now, you need to understand that going ahead against your parents' will or advice means that when you begin to have problem in this relationship and there's heartbreak, they will feel it. So they are not interfering. They are simply looking at what will happen to you, what you are going to encounter, and they are going to be part of this because they are your parents. Why do people pack their loads when they have marriage breakup and then they go back to their parents? Why do they do that? Because when things fail, you remember your parents. But when you want to make your choice, you are not part of my life, you should get out of my life, I want to make this. But when things go wrong, you can remember your parent to go back. So you should know that they are responsible. So it's not an interference. It's actually, I am part of your life. I am part of this thing. I have seen something wrong. Okay, you see an armed robber, and this is a serial killer. This is someone that everybody knows that is not okay. And then you say, I want to marry this person. They say, no, no, no. You can't get involved into this person's life. You understand? Because this is going to be a problem for you.
But they say love conquers all. What if at that point in time that person has changed and that person has turned a new leaf and the parents are not even aware that the person has lived a certain life and moves on to the next level, but they are still judging the person based on past experiences?
It's not about judging on past experience. Of course, before parents will say no to something, they will do their
own research.
Based on a lot of cases and life situations and experiences, a lot of parents actually base their judgments on tribal ethnic conflicts. She's not from our place, so no, don't marry her. Oh, well, she wears long nails. Oh, no, don't marry her. Oh, he has dreads on. He's definitely an armed robber in the making.
But you're aware that some parents they've grown up with this conception of certain family cultural backgrounds. It has stuck in them. There is nothing you say to them that changes their opinion about a certain culture, what they practice, what they do. They will tell you some of them serve household gods and they are thorough Christians. They wouldn't want their children to go into such a union because it would be so devastating. Now, how do you preach love to such parents who already have that ideology about that kind of a family background, and you're going right into that marriage?
If the parents in question really love their child, regardless of wherever this intended life partner is from, they will support. We are in the 21st century, and we are getting to that point where we are gradually breaking away from cultural norms, regardless of whether they have, but at the end of the day, some of these cultural values have, done more harm than good in a lot of ways. I can't even begin to count. So, if we are at that place right now, we are in the era where a lot of this younger generation of people are beginning to stand up and take responsibility, take charge. So, if I have decided and brought somebody home, there are a lot of things you really need to consider in the first place when a parent meets an intended life partner. Right. You need to consider the emotions of this person. This is your child we are talking about here. And this is someone that he or she decides to spend the rest of their life with. Have you considered how involved they are in the relationship? The investments in the relationship, emotional, financial, spiritual, in different areas. You can't even begin to, number them. There are a lot of things you need to consider. So as much as, yes, because at the end of the day, if you look at it critically, it's what the parents want that always supersedes what the child actually wants.
Before I go to Abraham,
which is very selfish.
Yes, before I go to Abraham right now, also realize that in this present age, you discover that divorce rates are very high now. Yes. Now, social media has come into play where young people are more prevalent in. They participate more. Back in the day when our parents never had social media, you could see that marriages were a bit stable.
No.
But now it's a different ballgame. Why? Because the youth or the young people have been allowed to make their choices and do what they like. But still, there is problem.
There is low tolerance. The younger generation that's the difference. Our mothers had to tolerate a lot. They had to say, endure, persevere. I'm suffering. They are the ones that will go out and toil from morning to night and still come back. The man will be sitting at, darling, hey, bim, and they will serve him. He would go out, he would cheat, he would have baby mamas all over the place. Our mothers will still stay put. But we have gotten to the point where we are saying, no, we don't want that anymore. We cannot live in this kind of oppression.
Okay.
And we cannot, education also plays a very critical role here. Right. And when a woman is educated, she's empowered, she's more aware, and she's saying no.
All right.
So all of the things that would relegate her.
Abraham, you heard what she said now. She has defended her stand and she's holding on to it that, look, partners go after who you love, but you are still holding on to parents.
Now, let me make this clear. You understand? This is the point from where we are coming. Yeah. Because she said parents are selfish. and it's like what they want is just what will suit them. Are they going to be?
But you are aware that some parents will tell you, this is our social status. You cannot afford to go below this standard.
No,
now you are going to marry a pauper, and if you do that, and look at this family. This is how we have been running things for ages. If you do that, you have broken the relationship with this family, and they would insist that you marry that choice of theirs because of that social status they're trying to uphold. How do you sustain that?
Let's straighten things up, okay? I am not in support of parents choosing for you. Let's get it clear. You understand? The subject is not about parents choosing for you. It's about guiding you.
When a parent objects you from marrying your choice partner, is that not indirectly telling you what to do?
No. What they're saying is that there's something they have noticed, something wrong. There's something wrong somewhere. You are putting your feet in trouble. You're about to enter. Like I said, they are guidance. Okay. They are there to guide you. They are there to show you the way. Wait. They are there to show you the path. Do you understand? So that you don't make mistake. They don't want you to get into trouble because they are mature. They have seen life. There are certain things they understand about life that you don't. Okay? So it's not about... Because I don't agree with I don't do that, and I don't expect any parent to do that and say, no, you have to marry someone that I will give you someone. No, that's not what we're saying. You understand? But what we're saying is, if even in a situation where your parents disagree, of course, you can still go ahead and marry who you marry, but not without their consent. That's what we're saying. So, but how do you go about that? Okay? Because the issue is this. And I want to straighten things up. Okay. The issue is not about, they said 100% you will not marry, and then you just go and sit down, and then you they said I shouldn't marry this person, and so my life is over. No, that's not the issue. You understand? Even if there are certain things your parents don't understand, okay, and then they disagree with whatever. Now, it is your own responsibility to discuss with them, to get them reason with you. Okay, until you resolve. It's a conflict situation, all right? And so you must find solution to it. But in a situation where, because what I have seen happen is that without going through these resolution processes, all right, some people will just go ahead. So it's just about the two of us. Let's just go and get married and walk away. And it means you don't value relationship.
Mr. Abraham,
let's value the relationship with your family.
Let's get it clear. Some parents will tell you this person you are bringing is from a different cultural background. The mother will tell you, I cannot relate with this girl you are bringing home because I cannot open up to her. She's not speaking my language. And whenever her relatives come, I don't like it when I'm not in the know to know what they are discussing. What if they are, and the parents will be insisting, you cannot marry from that culture. I mean, I married your daddy as from the same background. You have to do the same. And they will insist that culture you are bringing home, they don't want. It's alien to their culture. They have never been friends from the onset. How do you reconcile that?
So now, that's a conflict situation, all right? Okay? Now, you need to educate them, okay? Because from the point I'm coming is, you don't say because they refused and they gave you their reasons, and then you walk away with the guy and say, let's just go ahead and get married to hell with them. You understand? That's the point from which I'm coming. Don't do that. That's not right. Yeah, so what you need to do is to get them to reason. Bring them to the table. Discuss with them. You understand? Then bring in people who can reason. Bring in people who can talk to them. You understand? You need to take certain steps to make your parents to reason with you. Now, people will always object things based on their own prejudice. Do you understand now? They have their own thinking and all those stuff. But from the angle from which I come is, do not, because of whatever it is, go ahead and marry without their consent.
Do not go ahead and marry without their consent. We go on this break, and when we return, we have the debaters telling us more. This is still the big issue. If you're just joining us, this is still the big issue. Should intending couples marry despite family objection? Emma Mokwache and Abraham Eninla are here to dig in to tell us more. Now, Eninla, you were saying irrespective of whatever parents say, children should not go ahead and say, fine, you are not approving of our relationship, let's just go and do what we have to do. Bring in people that will talk to them. Yes. Now, let me focus on MM a bit. MM, very quickly, you are still holding firm that, look, marry who you love. At the end of the day, it's you and your partner. But you recall that a lot of times parents like to be in your lives because they've been through the marriage process, they know when the problem starts to happen, and they know that you guys will start experiencing those issues. And because they have been there, they will be very, very available to give you the counsel that is desired to give that marriage a boost. I mean, why would you want to shut them out just because you love someone?
We're not shutting them out. We're not shutting them out.
But you are saying this is this is who you want to marry. This is who you love. Yes. But they're telling you, come on, this partner is not good for you because we know you. You cannot take certain things and we don't think this would work.
Okay, you marry people or you choose someone to spend the rest of your life with them because, one, they complement you. Either negatively or positively, people always have some sort of influence on us. And then when you come to that point where you decide to, pick someone to spend the rest of your life with, it's choosing someone that complements you, someone that completes you. That's what marriage is about. But even when you're making those vows, it says what? For better, for worse. The same issues or the same experiences your parents lived is not the same that you're going to live. You're both going to live different experiences. So allow me go through my own journey. You've gone through yours. Whether you liked the partner or whether you like my partner or not, do not be the reason we are having our issues. Let us have our issues.
Let us make our own mistakes.
And find a way to resolve it. Because whether you like it or not, whether your parents have a say or not, or whether you allow them into your marriage or not, your marriage is going to have issues either ways. So at what point do you, third parties, even during marriage counseling, they'll tell you, be wary of the kind of counsel that you get. It could be based on your parents' relationship with you. It would always be a biased situation. We have seen cases where mothers will tell daughters to stay in a case of infidelity. Are they saying it for the good of that, for the good of her marriage? Are they saying it for? Is that encouraging? Does that spur her to be happy, to live a happy marriage? No, it doesn't. But allow people just get on with their lives and resolve their situations in whatever way they can. So whether yes, parents' guidance are good. We are not going to rule that out completely. But people should be allowed to make their decisions and face the risk either ways.
Abraham, you heard her. Sometimes parents' interference could be really annoying. Yes. You are actually aware of that. They come into your lives, things that they have experienced back in their own time. They want to use their own yardstick to measure your own marriage, forgetting that values have changed, things have evolved, people have moved on, but they are still stuck in their own way of life. So how do you contend with parents who are so stiff with the ideologies they have, not willing to have an open mind to experience new things? And yet, they come with that law, they come with that order and tell you, look, this partner is not good for you. And that is, some parents will tell you that is finer. You are saying they can bring people to talk, but some fathers will tell you, sorry, I have spoken, I'm the head of this family, this couple cannot work. This relationship cannot stand.
Now, I must say this, okay? I don't see the situation as a final situation. Okay, it depends on how you attack the issue. There is no problem that doesn't have solution. There's none. Okay, I at least I've lived few years old enough to know that there are quite a lot of conflicts here and there. I counsel people from various angles, you understand? And then, of course, so it depends on the way you see this thing. Okay, he said this. The father is like banging his head, and then like nothing will happen, even everyone. Let me give you an instance. There was a particular lady that had this same issue, and then, of course, I'm aware of what happened. And then in the process, okay, 1 year, the father and the mother, like, you understand, we're not going to allow this to happen. And then, of course, they are Christians. And then the lady saw that, okay, it's like okay, this my parent love listening to this, they respect this man of God so much. You understand? And then they listen to him. And so you know what she did? She booked an appointment to see this big man of God. And then she went to him and said, oh, I'm about to commit suicide. And he said, oh, no, you shouldn't do that. Why? This, and then she brought the story. And then the preacher did his own investigation, and he saw that the guy was fine. And then he said, okay, I will help you. Okay? And then he paid an unexpected visit to the parents. And we were like, oh, my God. Do you understand? And so the man said, I have come to seek for something from you. Just your consent. Wow. And they were like, oh, what can we do now? So you see, there is if I come up with my objections, there's always a point where my children can say there's someone that my parents respect. So because no one will allow you, even in the culture, you understand, it's a taboo to say, okay, I disregard my parents. It means you don't value relationship. They brought you up for crying aloud. You said, maybe, okay, if you are 30 years or 25 years, you must have spent 25 years with these people. These are the people. These are the only ones you know. And then you now say, okay, I have found a guy, and then we barely knew ourselves, maybe 2 years or 3 years, and then I'm going to throw the relationship away, my parents' relationship. It means you don't value your relationship with your parents.
Okay, now.
And then on the ground of whatever. Okay, so that's what I'm saying here. You must have a conflict resolution skill. You must find a way to get
Before I move to MM now, are you aware also that some children do not even have relationship with their parents from the onset? They have never had the time to rapport. There is no bond between them. Yes. And when it gets to that stage where they want to get married, the children feel this is about time for me to show this man or show this woman that, look, I'm an adult now, I need to live my life. Now, at that point, how do you think the child will be able to now want to listen to a father's consent on a decision he or she has made when you have never made an attempt to even have a relationship with that child while that child became an adult?
Now, that is one of the issues, parental failure. You understand? Now, of course, like I tell my children, if you don't believe in me, you will not trust my sense of judgment. You understand? Quite frankly, that is normal. You understand? A child will object to parents. This is because if I cannot trust you and there's no relationship, so that's on the part of parents, that's an error. You understand? And which many parents, so it's like you are not part of the life of this child. And then at a particular point you want to interfere. Of course, I don't agree with that, but notwithstanding, your parents are your parents. Okay. It's just like, okay, coming from this angle, they said, don't marry an armed robber. You say, I love him, love is blind. Now, you can go ahead with a bad guy, but you can't cope with bad parents because you think they're bad. So which way are you
Which is better?
Which is better?
Okay. Now, on the ground of trust now, you are saying, I love this partner, I want to go with this partner. And your parents are saying, no, you cannot go with this partner. This is what we have found out. We have done our research. Some mothers will even tell you, I've gone to different pastors to pray. And this is what they're saying. They keep saying the same thing over and over again. Now, if you decide to go against your will, are you not also going against the command of God that says, obey your father and your mother, that your days might be long on earth? Okay,
so is it not the same Bible that says a man must leave his father and his mother to cleave?
To cling to his wife.
Exactly.
No, you see.
It says live to cleave. So for that mandate is given to you as a man or as a woman. A man and a woman. You need to check out the dictionary of what a man and a woman means. So it's not just genders playing roles here. It is because you have gotten to that place of maturity. So, I mean, it's a critical point in your life. So whoever is making that decision knows very much that this is what they call it, the high road, and I'm willing to take it.
Okay, willing to take the high road. So you are saying...
So this is not saying no to the command of God, because a lot of, let's not even go to, a lot of spiritual leaders have misled a lot of people. Let's not even go into that. So if God wants me not to marry this person, please speak to me, dear Lord. I am listening. I will hear you. But let it not come from... I'm not saying that parents, there's a place of the parents. Let's not forget that. Let's not even roll that out.
That's what I'm saying. Trust.
The place of the parents.
Are you saying you don't trust the judgment of your parents?
No.
In most cases?
That's what I'm saying.
Because sometimes they are like prophets.
Yes, they are. Like they say, what the parents see sitting, you cannot see even if you climb on the tree.
Exactly.
Yes. Like I said, every parent have a role that they play in every child's life.
Okay.
But, for example, you raised a very interesting point there where you said a lot of parents have not, in short, a lot of people these days are coming from toxic parenthood. You've had really toxic parents, and then suddenly they want to be the ones to make that decision for you. Especially when you have met somebody that you have invested so much in, that you love so much, someone that you have practically given your all to, someone that has understood you the way nobody has ever understood you. And then suddenly your parents come and say, oh yes, so Mr. Abraham, I'd like to ask you at this point, I do have children. Do you have a daughter?
Of course I do.
You have a daughter?
Of course.
So if a man now comes and she brings a man, and would you say, oh no, because he wears dreads? And because I know that you're a spiritual leader, you'd say no, based on his looks. Because a lot of people, do these things based on perception, based on how somebody looks, which is not enough. So
that's a valid point.
At that point, where do you put your child's happiness? Where do you place your child's happiness? Do you also consider the emotional turmoil that you actually have to go through?
Okay.
At the point where you say, no, I don't want this person.
All right, Mr. Abraham. Now, before you continue, I recall someone came online to say that he had to go and reduce his beards before they will be allowed to wed. I won't mention the church, but he came on, he posted a picture of when his beard was full and when he got married. He said, this was my beard before I got married, and I was told that they will not wed us if I do not reduce my facial beards. He had to go and do it just because he wanted sleeping dogs to lie, but it was hurting for him because it's been a while he's been grooming those beards, and he looked really good in it. Now, she has raised an issue of looks now. Your daughter comes home with a man who wears dreads. Your ideology, people who wear dreads, of course, you see them as...
You write them off.
You write them off. You don't value them. You don't respect them. And this is who your daughter is about to get married to. And you're coming with your dignitaries and your friends to that wedding. And come on, I mean, you preach morals every day. And look at the man your daughter is bringing home and everything. And your daughter is saying, this is who I love. How do you contend such a situation?
I must come in from this angle, okay?
You always have all the angles.
Of course, because now the point is this. It's not about the appearance. I personally don't judge immediately by appearance. No, I don't do that. Okay. You understand? So what I do is investigate. Okay, this guy comes with this look. He's going to be my son-in-law. It's going to be part of my family. The first thing I will do is bring him close and have a chat with him. You understand? If you are going to pick up a job in a corporate organization and you go with all those, you will not be employed. And then you will not say, okay, because I am living in the new generation and this is the way I love to look. The only thing you would do is forfeit the job, all right? So but if you want the job badly, you would change your appearance. So why would you not do that to please the new parents that's going to come into your life? So if you value this girl so much that you want to marry her, then you will do what the parent wants. Do you understand? So it's not about throwing everything away, disregarding the parents, and then you want to marry. And then the girl is comfortable with your behavior. She's comfortable with your behavior, and she wants to go with you. She's in trouble.
Yes, but no,
she's getting into trouble.
No, I really do
she
not
has
agree
disregard for your parents. I mean, he has disregard for your parents. He doesn't value. And I mean, a guy that will marry you and then take you away without your parents' consent, I mean, he's not a good person. He's not. He's not.
He struck it.
Person.
Okay, that hit hard.
That hit hard.
No, because you should respect your parents.
It actually hits hard. But see, okay, I wanted to share a personal experience.
Okay.
Shortly before, at the point where my husband and I, at the time, were courting, I wear a lot of nails, yeah. So and then at the time, his mom came to visit. And, You know, so at the point where we're getting to know each other, she asked, this your long nails, are you sure you'll be able to wash with it? And then she started asking questions, can you even cook? All of that. And then the idea of you go to work, at the time you come back, when you have the time to even cook, or, you know, cater to your husband's needs, and all of that. And I'm like, okay. I didn't say anything. Why? Because I didn't think that it was in my place to defend yourself. Who I am. It's in the place of my intending husband to do that. Why? Because he's the one who is going to live with me. Whether I know how to cook, whether I don't know how to cook, we shall eat.
Yeah.
If he has a problem with the news, I feel that you find a way to balance everything. It's not so difficult. It's not, life doesn't have to be so complicated.
Life doesn't have to be so complicated. You heard them. Says if you are convinced you have made the right choice and your family says no, please go ahead and marry with or without their consent. It's your life after all, not theirs. Abraham Enila says marriage transcends the intending couple. You marry into a family, and don't forget, it's also imperative you get your parents' blessings. We'll go on a break, and when we return, our esteemed audience will be waiting via Zoom to make contributions. This is still the big issue. If you're just joining us, this is still the big issue. Now it's about time for the members of the audience to ask questions via Zoom. As of course, you know how the situation is. We've been talking about parents, partners. Would you object to your children's choice of partners or not? And that's exactly what we've been dealing with. Now the audience have their moment, and this is where we are now, right now. Now, Mr. Perfect, if I understand clearly, we have established a beautiful connection. So who are you directing your question to? Quickly.
I believe that marriage is between two families and not just between two couples. That is why the woman comes to bear the last name of the man. So it is between that's why they are brother-in-laws, father-in-laws, mother-in-laws, sister-in-laws, and everything. So don't you feel like it is being a little bit selfish if the man or the woman does not consider the family, because number one, this family grew up with you. They know your strengths and your weaknesses, your likes and your dislikes. They know who can cope with you. This is where you grew up. So they will see a woman and say, maybe you are a very lazy person. They will want you to meet an hardworking person so that the person can compliment you. If you are the type that's very hot-tempered, they want you to meet someone who is very calm so that you don't have issues in your marriage. So you're now writing off families and saying that families have no stake in marriages at all, despite the fact that you grew up with them and they know everything about you, and they are nothing but well-wishers and know your characters and know where you stand. And my number two question to is that this is a true life story, and I want her to give me an honest answer. There's a particular lady I worked for. Her husband had a company before, and then the husband died, and the first daughter was the one who took over the company as the CEO. Then lo and behold, one day the first daughter came to the mother and said, "Mom, I'm ready to settle down." And she said, and lo and behold, who she brought, the mother said, "Who is the person?" And she brought a woman like her and said she wants to settle down with a woman. And she said that, because of the kind of relationship we have, we can no longer be in Nigeria. We have to travel abroad. So you have to look for a new CEO. So, put yourself in that position now. This kind of marriage, same-sex marriage, this happened in Nigeria, true life story. And the woman now is very, very torn. So, would you allow that your daughter, who wants to live a same-sex life abroad, to go and say, "Oh, fine, it's her choice. She wants to get married. It's done off." Or would you try to stop this daughter? Those are my two questions.
Thank you very much, Marvin. Yes, you're on the hot seat now, so you heard the questions.
Okay, first question. Who in-law help? Please tell me. There are a lot of in-laws that have caused serious conflicts in marriages. And I remember saying earlier on that even during marriage counseling, you'll be warned that, you see, in-laws, so get me straight here. I'm not saying you should write off your family completely, but know their place, know when to seek advice, and know how to use this advice with wisdom. It's very important. And I'd say it's all the time that for you to want to be in that, for you to be at the point where you are married, you have to constantly seek wisdom from the Holy Spirit. It's very, very, very important. The Holy Spirit at the point of being married becomes your best friend. That doesn't mean that you totally negate what your parents and, family members or in-laws say to you. No. But you know how to balance these things. And trust me, not every family member is a well-wisher. As much as they may know you, they may think that they know what's best for you, but only you can decide on what is best for you. So regardless of whether you are hardworking and you meet someone that is lazy, so does it mean that you both cannot work together? Isn't that what marriage is about? Meeting someone and sticking together and becoming one because she's lazy. So what now? So if she's lazy, then she's not fit to be married. So she should be relegated.
Yes, you made a point.
That's not enough.
You made a point.
And that's not good enough.
You made a point now that some relatives are not well-wishers.
Yes.
Parents are also part of this family setting. Are you saying parents also are not well-wishers?
So parents are not well-wishers. Yes. Haven't you heard of cases of mothers witch hunting their daughters? Yes. We live in an African society, so we cannot even we can't play dumb to these things. It happens. We have heard of mothers witch hunting their daughters from giving birth. So in that case, are they well-wishers? So in that case, and that woman is saying, no, you will not get married. She has said no in her coven that you're not going to get married. Is she wishing you well? So in that case where you have brought a partner to her and she says, no, you're not going to get married to that person. You say, no, yes, ma. My mother has said no, I should not marry. So your life will be stuck because your mother has said so. Come on. Come off it. You need to wake up. You are in the 21st century. That's cultural and communal way of thinking. We just need to put it aside for a minute and figure out what is best for you. Whether you make that mistake or not, you go into it with your eyes open. Then second night answer the same next question. He asked two questions about same-sex marriage. I won't even lie to you. I have thought about it. If my daughter tomorrow wakes up and say, oh, mommy, my sexual preference is
same sex.
Same sex. Come on. Luckily, I am not my mother. So I have an open mind to these things. And I think we have come to that place where we need to be open-minded about these things.
That's it.
Simple.
Now, Mr. Enela, you heard what she said, that some parents are not well-wishers. Some mothers will tell you, this marriage will not work. I have said, don't go into it. And for that reason, you will not give birth. She has cited cases, and let's not pretend that these things don't happen. And in a case like that, where you find a son, you say they give sons names, mommy's boy. This one is a mommy's boy. The lady, this guy cannot even make decisions. I've had a friend who told me that I can't move on with this guy anymore because he seems too stuck with the mom's ideologies. He doesn't make decisions on his own. I mean, how can I even be confident with such a man when I finally get married to him? So she's so scared of going to a marriage like that because the mother has complete control over that boy. I mean, how do you reconcile that?
Now, the issue is, of course, on that point, it's quite obvious it happens, okay? And as a spiritual leader, what you need to do is to pray. You understand?
Prayer is the key.
Oh my God.
Prayer is the key. Because that's not, because in every issue, there are exceptional cases. You understand? And so when you argue on a particular point, you also have to look at the exceptional cases. These are spiritual matter. You are standing on my destiny. You remove your leg. You understand? Get out of the way. You pray that person out of your life. So you understand? So that is different from someone who wishes you well and which seeing something good for you and is advising you based on that. So if it is wicked mother.
Okay, she settled the issue of the same-sex marriage.
All right.
If in your case it happens, would you be able to change your daughter's ideology from focusing on same-sex marriage when she has come out to say, or he has come out to say, this is who I want to be with, this is who I love?
I think it's parental failure. Okay, it depends on how you bring up your child. Right? Just like what we said earlier on. I mean, you cannot object a child that you didn't train well. Okay, if you are training your children well, there is no how. There's no how your child will come to you and say, this is what. So even the Bible says, train your child in the way it should go. And when it grows up, it will do what? It will not depart from it.
Please,
do you understand? So if the child will not depart from it. So, I mean, you have given this child values. You've shown this child the right path. In this world of ours, people kick against same-sex marriage without being Christians or Muslim or anything, because they know that it's against moral standard. Do you understand? And so your child now comes in and says, this is the way I want to go. There's a problem, right? There's a big problem. And you have to go and find a way to help her out of that problem, because people, you don't know what is wrong with her before she comes that far. She has been hypnotized. She's in a relationship. Someone has been able to brainwash her into deciding. I mean,
believing that's
believing in that kind of orientation. You understand? So
it's a sexual orientation. So it has absolutely nothing to do with your upbringing or your training or whatever values
for
that
you
you have
to
instilled
go ahead
in
to
your
marry
child.
Are you saying
you're talking about same-sex orientation?
Okay.
It is something. In many cases, it's not something that you can control.
What if
people just do not wake up one morning or
it's an abnormal situation.
What makes it abnormal?
Let me drop this question now.
Okay.
What if
animals? Now let's talk about animals. Do animals of same sex mate together?
Yes, they do.
Where?
There are videos of them. We can go online and check. There are. So does that make them abnormal?
Animals will not do that.
I'm not advocating
and so
for homosexuality. What I am saying is everybody.
I mean, God created man. He says man and woman.
Everybody has a right.
Okay, talking about rights.
Now, are you saying that God made mistake to create man, woman?
Abraham,
I don't know what God was thinking.
Abraham,
because you are the one that you brought God.
Abraham,
but we cannot totally discriminate people who have that sexual orientation.
He said something now, that train up a child in the way he should grow, so he or she will not depart from it. Now, what if that child happens to mix up with a company of people who believe in that sexual orientation and decides that this is the way I want to go? But you are quite aware that a lot of them also have been influenced as well to think that is the way. And because of the people they move with, it can actually change whatever perception they have.
As a parent, if you have a good relationship with your child and you feel that you have instilled enough morals for that child to be responsible, then peer pressure is not enough to want to change that child's perspective towards, her sexual orientation. No, it's not enough. It's not enough to be influenced by the friends she's with, because you have instilled that value in her.
Okay.
I disagree with her.
Okay.
It's enough. Okay. Because once your child goes out to mix with another set of people, you see, and then they begin to communicate. Even the word,
bad companies corrupt good manners.
The book says evil communication corrupt good manners.
Then in that case,
good manners. So pick that word, good manner. So that's a person that was well brought up, but that's a good manner. Then evil communication corrupt good manners. And so you should help that child. You should not say, okay, that's your choice. Go ahead and make it. So no.
This is quite intense right now. We have Folarin standing by on via Zoom. Folarin, are you ready for us?
Thank you very much. Please, let me first of all establish that same-sex marriage is absolutely abnormal anywhere in the world. Having said that, Amen said in a speech that what parents can see sitting down, children cannot see when they climb on a tree. So how are you now advocating that those children who cannot see climbing on a tree should go ahead and get married simply because they think that is what will give them happiness? That is one. Two, I think I want to ask Amen, doesn't she think that effective communication between parents and children should be established before they get married, rather than saying that you can just go ahead and marry anybody you like, because I believe it is the happiness of any parent to see his boy or girl happily married. They want to be happy and they want the happiness of their children. And if they see something that will not give them that happiness, they have the right to stand against it. That is 2.
Oh, wow.
Then 3, amen. In the Bible, Isaac, it was Abraham that sent his servant to go and pick up a wife for Isaac. And the marriage went well. Samson got married without his parents' advice. And we know what came out of Samson and Delilah. What do you have to say to that? Those are my questions.
Excuse me, Samson and Delilah, were they married? Were they courting? I don't remember anywhere in the Bible that says they were courting.
They were in entanglement.
They were in an entanglement. Thank you. They were not courting. So please, let's not put Samson and Delilah in this matter.
Good.
Thank you. Then your second question, Uncle, when you are getting married, go ask your father and your mother. What is your spec? Do you like tall girls? Since you are marrying for your parents now. Do you like tall girls?
That's not what he said.
That's what he said.
That's not what he said.
That's what he said. He said you need to establish an effective
communication. He didn't say that. He didn't say that they will give specifications.
He said effective communication before you get married, before you choose that life partner.
He didn't
so
put
you may as well in your
there.
effective communication go and say, Daddy, Mommy, do you like tall girls?
Because you are the one that is interpreting that.
Yes, I like tall girls.
That's your interpretation.
It's the same thing I am saying. It's more or less getting a partner for your parents. Because it's not based on what you want. It is based on what your parents want. So are you living your life for your parents, or you're living it based on the things that you want? Because at the end of the day, so what happens when you eventually do not want those things that your parents have, listed in their book? What now happens?
Okay.
You divorce, and then you now decide, oh, that one was a mistake. Now I've decided to make my own decision. No, if you've made that decision, stand by it as a man and own it with your chest.
Now, the first question, what about the first question he asked? It says,
sorry, I don't know.
The first question says, when you said, what children see sitting down?
Yes.
Yes. So why would you want to go ahead when indeed you sit down and yet you're not seeing what the parents are seeing sitting down?
Okay.
You got it, right?
Yes, I got it. Yeah. We are not writing off, I'm going to say this again. We are not writing off our parents' advice. They have a role they play. Our parents will always be in our lives. They have a place in our hearts. They have a place in our lives. Do they always give us the right advice? Maybe not. Because they are our parents doesn't mean that they always have the right things, the right solutions to our problems, or the right, so basically the right solutions to our problem, the right advice to give regarding any situation. No, you're the one wearing the shoes. You know where it is going to hurt. When you decide to pick this person, okay, so what if you take your parents' advice and then you end up living
a miserable life
all through?
Without happiness.
In that case, are your parents not going to what? Come and live in the house with you,
make you happy?
As your wife or as your husband? So, like I always say that if you're going to make any decision, if you're going to take any risk, go ahead and do it, so that at the point where there is a mistake, you can say that you went into it with your eyes open. Nobody took your hand and put it in fire. Thank you very much. Of course, this is really, really hot, as a matter of fact. And with everything said so far, you would agree that both sides have made their cases very strong. So it's not left for you to take what you need to take and, pull up those perceptions you need to pull up and take out those things you need to take. But of course, we come back and we conclude this finally. If you're just joining us, you have missed out on a whole lot. But indeed, you are still watching The Big Issue. Welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is still The Big Issue. The issue is indeed really big. And right now we have to take, our last takes from our guests very quickly. I think I'll start first with Abraham and Inla.
because she started first, so it's about time. So your last take concerning your stand that parents should be allowed into the lives of their children when they want to get married. So
now the point is this. Parents are not dictating.
Okay.
They are not dictators. So we shouldn't misunderstand this subject. They are not dictators. They are there to help you. They are your guidance. Okay, so when, like what she said, what you cannot see climbing a tree, your parents can see sitting down. And so obviously what they do is to guide you, to show you the path. Okay, and so you should not go ahead into any relationship without considering their point. So it is very important that you sit with your parents to hear them out. And that is where the effective communication comes in. They are not there to make specifications for you. They are not there to say, this is who you should marry. It's not about that. It's about you finding out from them, okay, what exactly is it that you have found in this person that you don't like? I want to know. And then possibly there are things you don't know, you have not seen from your own blind spot. And then when they bring them out to you, possibly it will be a saving grace for you rather than going into something that will hurt you the rest of your life. And so that's what they have done, is just guiding you.
All right.
And so they are not dictating.
Thank you very much. They are guiding you and not dictating to you. Your final stand, quickly.
Okay, so what he said actually brought to mind something I saw on Twitter recently, where a young lady, a guy took an intending partner to his parents' house, and the mother insisted that she takes off her makeup because she wanted to see what she looked like. I've also heard scenarios where women have been written off by their intending partner's mother because they didn't assist in the kitchen, or because when they ate, she didn't clear up the plates. Does that make her a bad wife? Does that make her wrong for you? Does that make her a bad person? No. There are more to people. So yes, our parents see something. You see something. But at the end of the day, who are you going to spend the rest of your life with? Your parents or
the partner?
Your partner.
All right.
So whatever decision that you make, you have to own it. And most importantly, seek wisdom before making that decision.
Thank you very much. Of course, you've heard them. Ladies and gentlemen, this is exactly how we end the show today. Follow the conversation on our social media handles at TVC Connect and at TVC News Nigeria. My handle is at Mark Otabo. I want to thank the producer, of course, Francis, for his fantastic job, the camera crew for their fantastic patience holding it down for us, and of course, my fantastic guest right here. Now, before I go, we normally shake hands, but the pandemic has disallowed that. Maybe you want to throw a knuckle from where you are. Thank you very much. Remember, if the issue is not big enough, it has no business here. Of course, until I come your way again, right here on your screen, I will be always doing the best I can to hold forth on the big issue.